So, hello and welcome. My name's Steve Nobel, and today I'm speaking with Prageet and Julieanne on the Stargate experience. Prageet is an internationally known channel who has assisted people with spiritual growth for over 25 years, I believe, and he has a guide, Alcazar, and with this guide, he designed and built a Stargate which assists people and groups and individuals in the process of understanding and knowing self, which is the process of awakening. And Julieanne joined a little later in 2012 after discovering a profound connection to Stargate and the guide Alcazar, who she also channels, and the website is the stargateexperience.com. So hi guys.
Hi Steve, nice to be with you.
Hey Steve.
So I just should let people know that Prageet, you're from London originally, I think, and Julieanne, you're from California somewhere. So just people know.
That's right, California born and raised.
But both now based in the amazing Mount Shasta. Can I ask you how did you come into the work, and why Mount Shasta?
Well, Mount Shasta is just an incredibly powerful space, and I've always wanted to live here. How I came into the work was something quite different. I was also in another amazing power spot, the island of Maui in Hawaii. And I'd actually gone over there with a group of friends to create a healing center. And as we were gathering one afternoon to discuss our progress, I was exhausted, and my friend said, well, why don't you lie down on the living room floor and we'll give you a massage. So I was being massaged by several people, and in that process, Alcazar started to come through. He started to channel whilst I was totally out of it. When I came out of the meditation, people were staring at me. Out of the massage, people were staring at me saying, you were channeling. And so that's how my first contact with Alcazar came about.
Wonderful.
And yeah, it was really quite, I was very skeptical, didn't believe it, but my friends persuaded me to do it again, and it happened again. And so with their persistence, I continued to bring information through, and Alcazar started to demonstrate to me the reality of what was coming through by saying to people, in a few days, this is going to happen to you. And when it does, let Prageet know. And he'd also tell them things about their earlier lifetime that I knew nothing about. So slowly, I began to realize that, wow, this is actually real. And from there, people just started to hear about Alcazar, and he started to guide meditation groups. And then after about a year, he asked me to build a structure which he said will be called an Interdimensional Doorway. And it took me about 6 months to actually build it, because it's a very complex sacred geometrical structure. And the amazing thing about that is that it's an anchor for a higher dimensional consciousness. And it's that consciousness that we actually work with when we do Stargate workshops and sessions and so on.
Is that consciousness the same as your guide, or different, or is it a collective energy?
Well, it's I would say similar, but not the same. I mean, once you get up into these other realms, all becomes one, as you're aware of. So explaining things from a human point of view, where we exist in this separation, doesn't really work. But it's a very benevolent, very tangible energetic that hundreds of thousands of people around the world have experienced and benefited from.
So this Stargate is a structure that people sit around?
Actually, the size of it doesn't matter. When we do workshops, we have one which is about 6.5 feet, 2 meters high. We also have one here in Mount Shasta, which is about 10.5 feet high. So those you can actually get inside. But we have personal Stargates, which are as small as about 5 centimeters high, which people actually like to wear as a pendant.
And the interesting thing is, even that 5 centimeter high Stargate can fill a room of like 700 people.
Yeah.
So it really is the consciousness, it's the geometry that's creating the energy field. So when we work with it, the energy will fill up the entire space that we're in.
So can you say something about working with a Stargate? So you have this great, amazing structure. What does it do? Is it about awakening? Is it about taking people up through the dimensions, raising their energy? Or has it got many purposes?
So these energies are a bit like being surrounded by an ocean of high vibrational energy. Your own energy field starts to resonate and your vibration rises so that you start to be vibrating at that same high frequency. And in that space, you actually become far more able to feel subtle energy. So different things happen for different people. Inner vision, awakening,
all kinds of physical healing have happened over the years.
Physical healing abilities coming online.
Yeah.
Does it have a specific healing purpose as well?
Well, Alcazar explains it as the intention behind the whole of the Stargate work in its many forms is basically to raise the consciousness level of humanity, individuals and groups at a time. And the energies affect, because we're so unique, each one of us, the energies affect us in a unique way for each individual. So some of them are touched by physical healing, as we've mentioned, but the main focus is raising the vibration so you become more conscious, more aware. And as that happens, life becomes more abundant, more loving, more joyful, more healthful, more youthful, and so on.
Wonderful. Can I ask you personally, what's been the experience in your own lives around working with the Stargate?
Well, one of the things is that for me is I enjoy travel. I've traveled all over the world now, done this in so many different countries, from Russia to all over Europe, Israel, South America, North America, Canada, and so on. So travel for me has been really exciting, and being able to share this with tens of thousands of people and see the transformation and the joy, the excitement that people experience when they feel touched by these energies. And there's one beautiful story that comes to mind right now in Bulgaria. This elderly lady, in her probably close to 80, came to an evening session. She said, "I don't know why I'm here." But after a meditation, she couldn't wait to talk, because she said during the meditation she had her eyes closed and she saw this very tall man standing in front of her, and he had a kind of bluish tinge to him, and he was radiating so much love. And she said she'd never felt love like that before. And after the meditation, the pain that she'd had in her body for many, many years simply gone. So things like that happen all the time. And it's that joy of sharing experiences with people is really great.
I think one of the most exciting aspects for us is actually channeling Alcazar, because it's always a wild card. You never really know what's going to happen with the Stargate work, because it is an emergent process, and it's very much in response to the individual or group who's around it.
In fact, he's said that next year in April we're doing a gathering, and he's going to be introducing for the first time on the planet a blueprint for a new humanity. And when he makes that kind of announcement in the past, there's been incredible things that have happened for people. One of the ones he did previously was announcing that we were going to do a youthing experience. And we shared this in a webinar, and almost 4,000 people have experienced it now. And the incredible thing is that people are feeling younger, and not just feeling younger. People, their friends, and even doctors have told them, "Wow, what's happening with you? You are looking so much younger." So things like that are being brought forth through Alcazar and the Stargate. And I mean, it's such an incredible gift and a joy for us just to experience these things and share them.
Can I ask you about the structure itself? Is it one structure, or are there different types of structures that you work with?
No, it's just one basic structure, and we'll give you a photo so your friends can actually see a photo of it.
Wonderful. Do you think even meditating on the photo or the image would be helpful for people?
Well, actually, people do that. There's an understanding, as we said. Well, maybe I didn't. There's thousands of them now around the world, because a lot of people have their own personal Stargate. And they all connect up energetically, and Alcazar calls it just the Stargate grid. So they connect around the world. If people are aware of this, meditating and tuning into a photo can actually connect you to the energetic of that Stargate grid. And the Stargate grid is the energy that individuals are working with their personal Stargate, or when we're doing a group, that energy. When someone's working with their Stargate, the same energies are being radiated by the thousands of Stargates around the world simultaneously, because they're all connected up in the quantum field. So if we're doing a workshop here, people around the world are experiencing that same energy radiating softly from their individual Stargates.
Amazing. Now, you mentioned earlier the story of this woman in, I think, Bulgaria. Does the Stargate connect people to their own guides, their own perhaps star beings they're connected to, or are the beings fairly fixed to the work itself?
That's a great question. Really, the fundamental connection that the Stargate helps us create is actually to our own direct connection to spirit. So it's really all about that expanded space in which you can feel your own guides. So it really is like, sometimes when we're guiding in meditations, we often start with the angels, because many people are familiar with their energy already. They're familiar with the concept of angels, but especially when we work in one-on-one situations, like very specific guides will come for different people. But also what starts to happen is people start to really get a direct access through their own intuition, and they can actually work with the Stargate and call in the guides that they feel they would like to energetically connect to. So it really is that direct kind of like energy transmission that transforms people.
Yeah, and you mentioned star families. We do a lot of connecting people, first of all, making people aware that they have a direct connection to different star families. Because Alcazar says we are all extraterrestrials.
Right.
We've all come from elsewhere before we became human. And so part of the Stargate work for some people is actually connecting them to this family that they came from before they were human. And now what we found is many people who've done this work for a while can actually consciously go back to that star family, connect with them, and also get the support from their star families in their evolution here as being in the human form. So this Stargate is opening up for us all kinds of new avenues quite regularly.
I read on your website about the connection between these beings, the angelic realm, star families, and the divine feminine, and the connection to kind of activating our DNA. Can you say something about this activation of DNA?
Yeah, sure. So the scientists are very familiar with our physical DNA, and as much as 40, 50, 60% for some people of this DNA is actually dormant, not functioning to its highest level. And part of the Stargate work is actually reactivating dormant parts of the DNA that are not being used right now. But also we have higher dimensional DNA, which is invisible, and only a few of the most leading edge scientists are beginning to be aware of its existence. So the physical DNA is created by your ancestry, the physical body, your parents, grandparents, etc. The higher dimensional DNA is about your previous life experiences. So it's bringing through all kinds of information that you've gleaned in the many lifetimes that you've experienced here on the Earth. And so the Stargate reactivates all kinds of levels of information held in both types of DNA. So many people, once they've been working for a while, start to consciously remember skills and abilities from other lives.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about that is scientists can actually measure super high frequency light emission coming from our DNA. And what Alcazar says is this is actually that multidimensional, that higher dimensional DNA as it's entangled with our physical DNA. So Alcazar calls this the spark of spirit or the spark of God, and this actually overlaps it in all of our cells of our body to create our energy field. So as our energy field vibrates in the Stargate energies, it's literally vibrating more of that multidimensional DNA into awakening.
Do you find that people's lives change, lifestyles change, relationships change? I think we talked about health. Do you think that people shift as a result of working with this Stargate?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it always depends on the individual's intention. But just from the reports that we've had, people have had amazing shifts. People have found new kinds of employment, new relationships with their own body, which is really important as well. But general abundance and joy of life changes. I think that's perhaps one of the most important things that people have reported to us is they just feel better and life flows more easily.
Yeah, it's sort of as if the Stargate is lending both like potential energy as well as like a higher consciousness in which people can make those shifts, because it is oftentimes about their own personal evolution, what's been holding them back. They start to be able to shift. Yeah.
Now, I know on your website you do have a product section where you do sell the smaller ones. I believe people can buy that. But there are facilitators around the world. I see there's some in Ireland, Italy, I think Holland. So, and there's, I imagine there's training. I guess people just go to your website to find out all about this stuff.
Well, yes. Once people have experienced it, there is a possibility, if they choose to actually receive a training on either how to work with their own personal Stargate, but also how to use the Stargate to guide groups. But also many therapists of different kinds use the Stargate to amplify their own abilities and to create a very supportive energetic for their clients. So even like medical doctors and dentists have Stargates in their waiting rooms or in their healing areas to create a beneficial energetic. Massage therapists put it under the table where the person needs extra work and so on. So it amplifies the abilities that people already have.
Now, I know the possibility of Alcazar actually speaking here to myself and other people who are listening to this podcast.
Yeah, that's always possible. So let's see. Let's
see if he's hanging around. Then.
Beloved ones, we greet thee, 'tis Alcazar. And indeed, it is a great honor for us to be with you at this moment of your time. We would just like to say a few words about what is occurring on your earth right now and for the next number of years. As you are all familiar, if you are listening to these words, you're already familiar with the changes that are beginning to occur. Your societies appear to be in great confusion and chaos. They appear to be moving into areas of negativity and difficulty and financial struggle. Beloved ones, do not be concerned about this. Yes, it might seem a difficult challenge. First of all, let us say this: you do not have to be drawn into personal struggle and challenge related to what is occurring in your country and the world around you. Separate yourself from it. You can focus on your own energy, your own consciousness, and you can thrive through the chaos that is happening around you. Do not be drawn into it. Separate yourself from the mind thinking about the political and economic situations. Because when you focus on this, you bring your energy down. It is about raising your vibration, because as you raise your vibration, life changes around you. You start to create a lifetime for yourself that flows beautifully. The function of the Stargate is to support you in this. The chaos that is happening is actually a readjusting. It is about reclaiming a higher beautiful way of life in all your countries around your world. The old needs to break down in order for the new to be built. You cannot build on the shaky foundations of your societies as they are right now. But know this, beloved, there are so many of you already working on meditation, raising your vibration, becoming more conscious. You are changing the energetic on the planet, which is actually creating the breakdown of the old. Understand that. As so many of you are raising your vibration, you are the ones who are energetically breaking down the old and simultaneously building up the new with new foundations, with new consciousness. You are preparing the way for a whole new generation of intelligent beings, more loving, more caring. Your children and your teenagers are going to truly transform your world. The chaos that is happening right now is the transformation process, the beginning of transforming into a new world. Society takes a long time to change, but beloved ones, individually you can change very rapidly. The Stargate is here to support individuals, bringing joy, love, abundance, clarity into their lives. We thank you.